Hello, and welcome back to, at last, the final Final Fantasy V bonus episode. So last time, we completed anything that could be conceivably difficult in this game. It's all done, and yet there's still one more thing left. So here's everybody's final stats and loadouts. It's really good. We are going to stomp what is coming for us. So yeah. Cloister of the Dead. So, I think it pretty much just exists to be a victory lap. Again, might also just be something you can use, your Necromancer on if you choose to get all the magics for that. Like I said, I didn't bother. I'm close enough, it's fine. Okay, so we've never actually noticed that before, but, there's a giant head that takes us between dimensions. Sure, whatever. We'll get a look at that later. For now, just turn float on, cause sometimes things will have earthquake, and proceed. Oh, gonna tell us how this works. No, okay, just saying, hey, you better be prepared or you die. You said it last time, it's just a boss rush. Alright, so yeah, here we go. I'm speeding this up because, yeah, it is just a bunch of bosses that we've already seen. And technically speaking, they're slightly more powerful. They kinda have to be, because if they weren't, Garula would have died in one hit.
So, you're a Mega Man fan, what do you feel about boss rushes?
It kind of depends on the game, but I think usually they're not great. I don't know. There's a certain context, and also a certain way to play it out. In Mega Man games, the problem is it's just a trial of endurance, but at the same time, it's a way to check, do you know the boss weaknesses? You could always buster only those, but there's so many things in a row, you don't want to.
I cannot stop comparing this game to Live Alive. Live Alive does end with a boss rush, but
there's a context to it, and it's cool.
Yeah, they don't change the stats of the final bosses, but your stats have changed. And this leads to situations where, like, in the one, scenario where you can't level up, the hardest boss fight now becomes the easiest boss fight. Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Person flying.
So yeah, even though things have slightly better stats, you can honestly usually ignore most of their gimmicks, barring, like, one or two of these bosses. I would like to mention, of all things, I've not used many guides for this. I typically stuck to the, Alex guide on GameFAQs, but I did find, Caves of Narsh site, just to check the order of things, but I do like their comparison on there. They just say, imagine having a fight when you're a 4-year-old. Now imagine you're your current age, and you meet this guy again, but he's 6 years old. Which is a very fun comparison. So, Parabolos are honestly one of the only things you might have trouble with, just because of their arise and exploding gimmicks. You want to shut those down because explosions do kind of suck still. Self-destruct can actually do some damage. This is like one of 2 encounters I ever actually really worried about. even Gill Turtle at this point is not a huge deal. But yeah, I basically just silenced them and then used Odin, who was actually effective against them. Technically a boss, but also technically enemies.
Yeah, well, that's a cool way to use it. To, like, circumvent a boss gimmick.
Oh yeah, you're gonna arise? What if I just said, shut up, Odin time? What did you do then, huh? What if I didn't even say shut up this time? What if I just said Odin time and you were apparently weak to that?
So, setting aside boss rushes, I feel like boss refights in JRPGs can be interesting in certain circumstances. I think the example that requires the least amount of explanation would be any Pokemon game that lets you re-challenge gym leaders after the Elite Four and they have new teams.
Uh-huh.
That's just cool. It's just cool to see Brock with a Pokemon team that's decent.
Yeah. I do love that they actually do prove that, like, hey, yeah, no, gyms are here to be beaten. Like, the gym leaders do have teams that can kick your ass if they actually want to do that, but usually they're just there to give you a challenge.
And if you'd like to see the logical conclusion of that, please check out the Pokemon Crystal Clear ROM hack, where each gym leader has 16 different teams depending on how many badges you have.
Uh-huh. So anyway, here's Archaeo Demon. He's the other tough one because he's the most recent boss you fight. You don't fight anyone else from Sealed Temple. I've repeated it time and time again, but you definitely do not fight the Omegas or the Shinryus, any versions, and thank God, that would just be cruel. But they also require very specific setup, so it would have been kinda bad to do that. Alright, now set up for Shinryu, and hopefully that works against all these other guys too. I will say, I do kinda like doing this. I mean, honestly, after Sealed Temple doesn't feel quite as good, because, like, I've done the challenging things, and this is a victory lap, but I feel like the important thing was proving that, like, yeah, no, I actually wound up with a very good team setup. I've said it before, it's partly because of the hack, but still a good team setup. The thing a lot of people complain about, pretty much starting with this game and through many of the Final Fantasies after it, is like how samey characters can wind up being in terms of gameplay. And that's sort of baked into how this game works, so nobody, like, complains about it in this one, but, like, in 6, characters have distinct abilities, but those don't matter as much because the job crystal kind of equivalent thing in that game winds up kind of just giving you all of your magic, and because everybody can use anything, they just get all the spells, so everybody just has the same magic lists and kind of just do the same things overall, and yeah, that just continues pretty much until Final Fantasy IX, I think. That's where we stop getting kind of interchangeable characters in gameplay. But yeah, I think it's kind of nice that I was able to take a team and give them all pretty unique abilities. There is no overlap, again, other than the ones that have to be there, Freelancer and Mimic, but other than that, though, everybody gets their own thing, and it worked out pretty well. It would have worked out just fine in vanilla for everything except maybe the super bosses. I might not have been able to cover that with Bart's on rapid fire duty.
So, when people complain about characters ending up samey in games with job systems, I feel like there are two things they're forgetting. One is that there's a time investment. Like, you have to depending on the game, either like skill points or maybe it's number of battles like Dragon Quest, but like it takes time and effort to do that. And like in the Dragon Quest games with vocations that I've played, after I get like my team to max out one line of vocations, I feel like I never want to grind again. So the idea that you can just grind and everybody will be the same is like, how? Are you playing in the hyperbolic time chamber?
Yeah, I don't know how it is for the Dragon Quest games. I don't hear it that much for Final Fantasy V. It's pretty easy to do with 6, 7, and 8, though.
Yeah, I can see that. But I just mean in general, I feel like that's something that people forget. The other thing that people forget is that, oh, that makes the game less fun, don't do it.
Yep, you are free to not do it. I forget if I've mentioned this, but like, technically speaking, versions with achievements do give you achievements for maxing out a job class with all 4 characters instead of just 1. So, if you're an achievement hunter, welcome to hell. A person who's actually done that has the right to say, oh yeah, this fucking sucks to do, don't do it. They would be in a better position than any of us to do that. And then drop dead after doing it. Like, granted, there are a lot of ability points. I'm sure if I had bothered doing more overlap, it would have been very noticeable how many ABP I got throughout endgame and postgame. Because, like, things give you a lot of stuff once you reach the end of the interdimensional rift. I still think it'd probably be pretty tedious to actually do that, though, but it's not as daunting a task if you were, say, level 5 deathing object arts. Still seems like it'd suck, though.
Yeah.
I've never heard of anybody going out of their way for those achievements. I think anytime I hear about this game, it's probably either the SNES version or this one, just because people are going to be playing for 4-Job Fiesta, so they probably don't care as much about the Steam version and its achievements. If you're already dead, why did you get to Mind Blast, you dick? It's great in fast motion, yeah.
That's just something funny about doing max damage and then it runs away to a different hole. Oh, fuck that.
Oh, I don't like this game of Whack-A-Worm.
But yeah, I think this isn't a job system game, but I think a game that definitely runs into the problem where you have to put the same skill on everyone and you get mad about it. Valkyrie Profile with auto item and guts.
Yeah. Yep. It is by far absolutely the ideal strat.
That, I think, is what most people see whenever they see any game that has a quote-unquote optimal strat. Like, just because you found the most powerful thing in the game doesn't mean it's the most fun. I remember Ty talking about playing Resident Evil 4 over and over again and just doing, like, runs with the mine layer. And, like, that's not a good weapon, but it makes the game more fun if you're really good at it. And I feel like people need to be more willing to try things like that.
Yeah. People do often get too stuck on optimal strats. It's like, this is the thing that you want if you're min-maxing, but it's like, okay, but like, you could always try not doing that if you like. It's entirely possible. Valkyrie Profile, yeah, you do absolutely need those abilities.
That's what I was gonna say. The problem with auto item guts is that some of the bosses might be impossible without it.
Look at that frog go.
Aw. Oh, it's back!
I had to temporarily unfrog. Yeah, that's a problem with Valkyrie Profile, is just... Clearly they were designing with those abilities in mind. And also, apparently none of the characters that I like were optimal either, because, good lord, that final boss took ages.
Oh, that's not as big of a problem with Valkyrie Profile.
It is for me. I want to use all the cool women.
What I meant was that you totally can. Your problem was that, this is gonna sound stupid, you played on normal difficulty instead of hard.
Oh right, yeah, I keep forgetting. Hard just gives you ridiculous stuff.
Yeah.
It's actually easy mode.
If you play on hard, you get more fun tools, more... actually, there's only one character you get that you don't get on normal. But you get less experience through battle, but more experience through events. Which means that when you get that item that lets you avoid battles, you can just use it. And there's no downside, because you weren't getting experience in battles anyways. Yeah, Valkyrie Profile is weird, and I know you, like, are kicking around plans for an LP, and I hope you do hard mode if you do.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, one day I do want to do Valkyrie Profile just condensed, because I had fun with it on stream, but also that's kind of menus the game if you let it be. And I don't mind that personally. I have a good time with that, but, you know, maybe less of that.
Also, there were many streams in a row where I was in the chat constantly telling you to use auto item and guts, and you kept telling me to fuck off.
I don't want to, I want to use the unique things. Oh, fine, I guess I have to. Everything turns to auto item guts.
Also, there was that one cutscene where the voice acting broke and Valkyrie just started screaming.
Oh, right, yeah, oh god. Well, I'm pretty sure I have better, perfectly legitimate means of playing at this point, so...
Yeah, I don't
probably
know.
go better.
I don't know what was happening with that PlayStation.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah, I thought the PS3s could do perfect emulation, but I guess not.
Guess not, darn. But yeah, all that is to say... How ubiquitous party members wind up being in RPGs really does just depend on the game. And you know, Final Fantasy X is also a game where, like, characters will wind up the same, except with the way the sphere grid works, people actually kinda like that. Like, ah yes, I've managed to get to somebody else's sphere grid, nice. Kimahri can actually do something by stealing. Great. Cool.
God, my favorite, like, fandom running gag for Final Fantasy X is, like, people love Kimahri as a character and fucking hate him as a party member.
Yeah, you know, we talked way long ago about Blue Magic not always being good. Yeah, that's one of those games.
Look.
That's the game where it's not good.
I don't care. Whenever I finally get around to playing Final Fantasy X, I will use Kimahri. I do not care how upset it will make me.
Alright, so yeah, with that though, that's Cloister of the Dead. Like I said, victory lap. That Caves of Narsh article definitely got it right. They're technically tougher, but not enough. Alright, so yeah, Medal of Smiting, it said, you did it, you did the cool thing, you're the best, you've done everything, you can stop playing the game now. And so we will. I've done everything I can do in Final Fantasy V. Maybe there are a few other things I missed, but nothing important. Probably like missed an item or two. I don't care. It's fine. We've done enough. I can rest. I can mark this as completed on Backloggery. Anyway, yeah, here's that head he was talking about earlier. That's just on the Ocean Sea map now. That's how you know where to find this. So, yeah, that was the entire endgame of Final Fantasy V. Yeah, I will never do it again. I'm glad I did it this one time. There is satisfaction in completing the super bosses, But god, that was tedious. I never want to do that again. It's not happening. I like it when these characters speak and when things actually happen, and not whatever sealed temple was. We got so much money now. I could have been using Gil Toss so much at the end. I'm rich beyond anything I need money for. Alright, any final thoughts on Sealed Temple?
The job mod should have changed the Gil Toss attack to be called Capitalism Strike. I don't have any final thoughts on Sealed Temple, it just looks like it sucked.
Yeah, pretty much. So, that is, at last, all of Final Fantasy V. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time for whatever we do next. As if I don't already know what we're doing next.
Yeah, real fucking mystery. Going to Dairy Queen.